Hey, good morning. It's Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady. This is your tax lien investing tip for today. Today is Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. And today I'm talking about, yes, you can still get profitable tax liens and tax deeds in today's market. And yeah, it's tough. There is competition out there, but you could still do it. I still do it for the fund that I invest in, and my clients still do it. Now, is it as easy as it used to be like 30 years ago or 20 years ago? No, but it's a matter of, I'm going to give you two tips to help you with this. And for today's call, no whiteboard. I'm just chatting with you today. And for me to make this really valuable for you, I would like some feedback, some participation. So when you come on, just say hello. Let me know what state you're from. And I'm going to ask you for some feedback in the comments. Okay, I'm on StreamYard and I can see your comments in Facebook. All right, so today I'm going to give you two things to help you be successful at tax sales. All right, now also I want to tell you, I do a tax sale success, I do tax sale success workshops and tax sale success masterclasses, which my members get into for free, okay? The master classes are 90-minute classes. They are $47 for each class. Members get them all for free and all the recordings for free. And master classes are three-day workshops. I'm sorry, the master classes are the 90-minute webinars. Workshops are 3-day workshops where I give training on what tax sales are going on now. The master classes are a particular topic. The last one we did was on evaluating tax sale properties. Our workshops are actually go on during the tax sales that are going on and go through all the steps that you have to do. It's really my advanced tax lien investing training boiled down to 3 days of training. Okay, what was 6 or 8 module course boiled down to 3 days of intense training, an hour and a half each day. Our next one is going to be in December. And again, members get into all these things for free. So I'm going to put in the comments right now a link for you guys for the membership. So let me know if this went into the comments for Facebook. I know it's here. I'm doing this here on StreamYard and it gets streamed into Facebook on my Facebook page. But okay, so I told you I would give you two things that will help you get profitable tax liens or profitable tax deeds in today's market. And these are things that I teach my coaching clients how to do. The first is you have to pick the right place to invest. All right. And what I recommend is that you stay away from big cities and places where everyone wants to live, because those are going to be the most competitive. For instance, I had a coaching client that by accident, she put a deposit in not the county that she wanted to go to, but another county, which is, has a big city, and this is in Texas. So she put a deposit on Dallas instead of another county that she wanted to go to. But because she did that, we looked into the properties that were going on there. And so she did bid on one that was a vacant lot. The lot actually went for I encouraged her to bid a lot less than the market value of the property, but the lot actually went for more than 30% of what that market value is. In fact, it probably went for like 70–80% of what that market value is now. But keep in mind, this is a vacant lot, and that you have to clear the title to the property once you actually get it. You have to wait 6 months, right? And then clear the title to the property. So either the person that bought that property will get the interest on their money. In this case, in Texas, it's a penalty. It's a 25% penalty. It's not a homesteaded property because it's land, so it's only a 6-month redemption period. So that's why they are able to bid so high on that property. All right, especially this one, I think it might have had a mortgage on it, so it's most likely that it is going to be paid. I forget if it did or not, because I was also working on doing due diligence for properties, totally different properties in New Jersey for tax liens that the fund is going to be bidding on. And we were successful in bidding on a piece of land and getting 18% on a lien. Now, and this is something, unheard of today, getting the maximum rate on your tax lien in New Jersey. Now, why were we able to do that? Because again, it was vacant land. All right, there was only one other bidder, and because it was a proxy situation and the other bidder did not have any buying power. So here's how it works with these online tax sales. You put in a deposit, and for the ones in New Jersey anyway, and Florida works similar, Arizona works similar. But most of the sales that are on realauction.com work similar to this. You put in a deposit and they take that to be 10% of your budget. They will let you bid up to your budget. And when you exceed your budget, or once you meet your budget, they don't give you any more bids. Okay, so you lose your buying power when that happens. So the other bidder on this particular property had no buying power. So ours was the only bid. And because it was a proxy situation, we bid 0%, which is what I usually recommend my clients to bid when they're bidding in New Jersey. Sometimes I actually encourage them to bid premium. It depends on the lien that they're bidding on. But why bid 0%? Because if there are no other bidders and it's a proxy bid situation, very important that you understand the difference between proxy bidding and direct bidding. In a proxy bid situation, you are going to win the bid at the next increment below the next highest bidder. So let's say there's a bid of 18% and you bid 0, you're going to get it at 17%. In this case, there was another bid. The other bid was at 6%. If they still had buying power, we would have gotten it at 5%. But because they had no more buying power, we got it at 18%. If there's no other bids, you get it at the maximum rate. The statutory rate in New Jersey is 18%. So if you missed the beginning of my description of, I was talking about 2 different bidding situations. One in Texas where a client did not get the property. It went at a very high percent of the value of the property. It went at about 70% of market value and this is vacant land. And then, but is it possible to get vacant land? Yeah, it is possible to get vacant land or get the return on your money. But here's what happened in that particular sale. We went to the wrong place. Okay. My client had made a mistake. She didn't put the deposit on where she wanted to go. She put it on somewhere else, which was a very dense population. So you want to stay away from the areas that have big cities and dense populations. You want to go to the more rural areas. You want to go to the areas away from big cities, away from international airports, because those are the places that people want to pay a lot of money for. Okay, and the second example that I gave was one where I was able to get a lien at 18% in New Jersey, a good lien on vacant land, but a good lot that is actually for sale right now. So it is possible to get good liens and good deeds in today's market, but there are two tricks two things to help you. And that's what I promised you today that I would give. And the first one was you have to go to the right area, right? That was the first one. So picking the right area. So you might have to go to a couple of sales before you actually find out what that right area is that is not as competitive. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is bidding on the right type of property. So the one that I was successful at and got at 18% was vacant land. And when you looked at it on the map, it didn't look like it was buildable, but it is. Okay, so it's finding something that is not as attractive. It's finding the right type of property that's not as attractive to all the other investors, but that is profitable if you get it. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, one of the things that I have my coaching clients do is get the results of previous tax sales and look at the type of properties that are not bid as competitively. Okay, that's one way I do it. The other way I do that is I use tools and resources that let me actually see the properties in the sale. And this is something that I make available to members and to coaching clients. So, and if you missed the beginning of this live, I was talking about what members have access to other than the training from me. They get most of my courses, but they also get into all the masterminds that I do in all the workshops. We will have another workshop, the last one of the year, coming up the beginning of December. And December is, I got to tell you, the most profitable month and one of the busiest and most profitable months, especially for New Jersey. And I've had clients that were able to get liens in December particularly. So we're going to have that masterclass the beginning of December. And one of the reasons is that it's holiday season. December is holiday season, but the municipalities in New Jersey, many of them are on a calendar year and they have to have their tax sale by the end of the year. So there's a lot of them in December. Okay. And then we'll have a master class this month and next month. I'll be doing a master class. The topic of our last master class was evaluating tax sale properties. And I don't have the topic yet that I'll be doing this month, but we'll be doing that on a Tuesday night. And as a matter of fact, I think both the one that we do this month and next month will be on Tuesday instead of, I usually do them on a Wednesday or Thursday, but because I'll be traveling both this month and next month, I'll be doing them on Tuesday nights. And again, members get into that at no charge. But if you'd like to check out becoming a member, and if you'd also like to get my state guide, which tells you what happens in every state, it gives you a summary of what happens in every state, and that will help you choose the best place for you to invest. And you could get it on the page taxlienlady.com/membership if you don't have it already. Some of you that have been here before, you might have that already, and I'm just going to put that in here. again, I think I put it in the comments before, but I'm not sure if it actually went into Facebook. So you guys tell me if you actually get this link. It's taxlienlady.com/membership. Now this page tells you all about the membership, and the big button is for the yearly membership, which lets you save. It really gives you 3 months for free, and it also gives you a coaching session with me. You get one coaching session with me when you do the membership for a year. If you scroll down to the bottom of that page, there's a link where you can download my state guide. And under the big button, there's also a link for monthly membership. Okay, the monthly membership is $165 a month. But again, you could save over $400 by paying for the year. You're really only paying for 9 months, but you get it for a year. So you get 3 months for free. Okay, and I'm glad to give you guys the information that you want, or the training that you want, in these short trainings that I do 3 days a week. So if on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you let me know what you would like for me to talk about, what are the things that you need some extra help on, I'd be glad to do that for you in these trainings that I do. So, and you know, I've heard people tell me that they get more training from me for free than in some programs where they've paid a lot of money for. So if you get that training for me for free, what do you think you would get if you joined the membership? You'd get a lot more, a lot more. I deliver a lot in my membership, a lot more than people who pay coaching in other programs get. And my coaching members, of course, get even more. They get coaching with me 3 times a month. Okay. If anybody would like to find out more about that, you could just email me at info@taxlienlady.com. And I'm not seeing any of the comments. So I don't know if you guys are commenting, but if you would just let me know that you're here, and has this been helpful to you? Has today's message about 2 things to help you be successful in today's market at tax sales, has that been helpful to you? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. And I don't know why it doesn't seem like I'm seeing. Oh, wait a minute. I see. Now I have to click on the comments in order to see them. I wasn't seeing the comments because I didn't have that clicked. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I'm a little bit technically challenged, but not really, not really. But hello, Ray. It's good to see you here. And now I'm seeing the questions that, okay. And Ray, if you listen to the replay, I talked about 2 different states today. Okay, yeah, Texas and New Jersey. Yeah, and you haven't been able to find any deals in Texas. Well, here's my advice to you, Ray. You got to go to the smaller counties that maybe don't have a sale every month and are live, because some of them now, there's a few Texas counties that are online. Even some of the small ones have gone online. Okay, and that's going to make it a little harder. So you're going to look for those smaller counties. And when I say smaller counties, I mean Texas is a huge state with a whole bunch of counties. It's incredible. So, but I don't mean the size of the area. I'm talking about the population. Okay, so more rural areas, which there are a lot of in Texas, but there are some towns and cities too. So you want to go for the rural areas. that aren't as populated, and check those out. Okay, and that are still live, still have live tax sales. Okay. And hi, Augie, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, listen to the replay. And let me know, guys, what would be helpful for you. Yeah, the 254 counties in Texas. And some of those counties are really big because Texas is a huge state. I mean, it encompasses a huge area. So, yeah, the trick is to find those counties. And you might also want to go to counties that have distressed areas, because those are the areas that are going to have more available, and that you might be more successful. Okay, here's what you're looking for, Ray. And since you've been to some of these tax sales, you know what's going on. And I would look at the results of the tax sales that you've been to, and look at the properties that weren't bid as competitively, and see what type of properties they were. And I would target those. I would find a way to target those properties. Yeah, and if you are bidding on land, you do want to make sure it's buildable. Okay. All right, guys, I don't normally answer questions during tax lien investing tips, but today I just wanted to have a little more intimate chat with you. And what I really want to find out is, what do you guys want me to cover in these trainings in the future? Okay. And Ray, I'm not sure what you're working on in Houston, but again, Houston is one of those areas that's going to be really competitive. And one thing that I know people do in areas like that are real competitive is they reach out to the owners of the properties before they go into the tax sale, and try to buy the property from the owner before it goes into the tax sale. And remember, even if it goes into the tax sale, you can buy it, you can redeem it, okay, if it goes into the tax sale. The difficulty with that is that people pay so much money, and you still have to pay 25% of whatever their bid price is. Okay, and Ray, here's the other thing that because I have clients in Texas, and this is what I do with my coaching clients. I help them find the right place. That's the first thing I do, all right? So I help them find the right place to bid. And yeah, there's lots of overbidding in Texas, and there's money laundering going on in Texas, because people come from states like Colorado, where marijuana is legal, the business of marijuana is, but it's still federally illegal. So they have to launder the money, and so they don't care how much they bid on these properties, right? They don't care. They don't care if they don't make any money. They're laundering their money. So that's one thing that you have to deal with. So where do you think they like to go? They like to go to counties where there's a lot available, and they could do a lot of money at one time. All right. So you go to the counties where there's less available. That's another thing that you could do. But Ray, I really think you would benefit from the membership and from working with me, either as a member or as a coaching client. The best way is as a coaching client, because you get to work with me directly 3 times a week. Yeah, they come from other countries too. Yeah, to do money laundering. Yeah, so that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with. So you might have to go to other states. And there are other redeemable deed states that I like better, and one is South Carolina. Now, I will be going to the National Tax Lien Association symposium next week, and it is in South Carolina, and I'll be learning more about South Carolina. Now, I've also invested, well, I haven't personally, but I've been to tax sales in South Carolina with a client. I've done a VIP weekend in South Carolina, and that's another thing that I could do with people is a VIP weekend or a VIP day. As a matter of fact, my year-long coaching package now includes a VIP day. Yeah, and the reason why South Carolina and Tennessee are less competitive than Texas is because it's a 12% interest rate rather than the 25% penalty. The 25% penalty makes Texas really desirable, really attractive for big money. And the money laundering aspect of it, because not only can they launder their money, but if it gets redeemed, they make money on their money. So they make a lot of money on their money. So that's why Tennessee and South Carolina are good, because it's only 12%. So it's less attractive. And in South Carolina, the amount that you could pay for a deed is actually capped. All right. I'm gonna find out more about that. Although I do know quite a bit about South Carolina, because I've had a couple of clients in who have invested in South Carolina. They don't live there, but they've invested there. And I've actually been there to a tax sale with a client. My client bought 4 redeemable deeds on 4 properties for $15,000. That was back before COVID. So it's, prices have gone up a little bit since, but it's still, and the reason why you could get properties for less money in South Carolina is because they will, even though they pay 12%, it's 3% every quarter. They will only pay out in interest the amount of the back taxes. So it's capped. How much you can actually get back is capped, not just by the interest rate, but by the amount of back taxes. So you have to be careful how much you bid. Okay. All right, so that's it for today. So let me know what you guys would like trainings on in the future. And I'll be here 3 times a week, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, and give you a quick training. Okay, somewhere between, today we went a little longer, almost 30 minutes, but normally it's going to be like a 20-minute training or less. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Put in the comments and let me know, what would you like a quick training on? Today it was 2 things that will help you be successful in today's tax lien sales and tax deed sales in today's market. Okay, see you tomorrow.